My name is Keith Albert. I was a mechanic slash welder, and I came to the 86th from 590th Maintenance Company. I came out temporary duty for 90 days, and this was in November of 67. I went back to the 590th in October of 68, 4 days before I was due to go home. When I got to 86th, I liked the people, I liked the work, I considered it home, and I simply stayed. When I got back to the 590th, I had to have a 1-star come in and vouch for me because they had me listed as A1. October of 67, and I joined 86 November 17th of 67. Spent the rest of my time in Vietnam with 86. I never went back to my assigned unit. That's why I had to borrow the 1-star. With 590th, when you read this book, you'll find there's a story in there from an officer. When we came out of the field, we were not fit to be a human being. Most of the guys, when we came out of the field, looked like the Beatles, had hair that long. Some of them didn't shave. Uniforms were in tatters, if they had one. They may not even had a shirt. We tried to always have something that resembled pants, but we were out there to do a job, and they didn't care what in the world we looked like. In my letters home, which are in there, you'll find around Christmas time. No, it was after Christmas, and this was first part of January, I think, and I had not had a bath or shower since Christmas. We worked long hours, and I had as a mechanic at the later portion of my tour, we had the 548 maintenance track. Nice thing about that track, it had a canvas top on it, and we had 2 people on the track. One person would drive, one person would lay behind the 50 and sleep in that canvas. We'd do that in the morning. In the afternoon, we'd swap positions. That way we generally would get 45 minutes to an hour sleep a day. And that was what we had. It's a very interesting time. Just so we kept busy, and I personally had a lot of fun. I got there late in the afternoon on the 17th. Found a warrant officer, told him who I was. He said, "Find a place to sleep. We'll deal with you in the morning." So I found, anything that resembled a bunk was accounted for. So I found an ammo box. I slept on the ammo box because it would retain a little bit of body heat, and it made that little silk blanket that they gave us viable. Then I made it through the first night. Somebody went back into Bearcat, and I had a bunk. But worked from the minute we got there. Other than that first night, got a good night's sleep that night.
Wow.
So it was, like I say, it was interesting. But once you got to know the people and got to know what was going on, it was good duty. When we got up, myself and my partner, now early on, we lost a lot of operators for rollovers. When the tractors rolled over, either the batteries broke or they came uncapped, and we lost operators to acid burns. So we pulled all the batteries out of the bulldozers, There's a compression release on a diesel engine. You probably know that. But we would go in there, release that compression release, spin that diesel engine over and slap that compression release back, start the tractor. That was the first thing maintenance did in the morning, was go out and start everything. Once we got all our, we generally were assigned 10 tractors at any particular time. Get those 10 tractors running. We generally had to bleed the transmission. There was an O-ring on the transmission. Once they got hot, that O-ring cracked, and we had to bleed them out and get them to where they would pump and function properly, get the transmissions working. So we did all that. Then we could go get something to eat. Operators would come out, finish checking over their own piece of equipment, and get ready to go. And that was the first thing we did. Get up, make a lot of racket. But that's assuming that we even got to sleep. So, ugly start to a day.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Up until maybe 2 years ago, never talked about it. Never did. It's one of those things, and if you talk to, I'm sure you talk to some of the other people, they bury it. And if I hadn't found the website last year, most of it would still be buried. Yeah. There's no reason for anybody else to know anything. Mm-hmm. Once I found the website, started talking with people, I decided at that point that I was going to leave something for my wife and kids. And that's why I started collecting pictures from people that were willing to give them to me. Well, as a mechanic, you have to know how to run that full tractor. Mm-hmm. Now, the only time I got any, I'm going to call it quality time on a tractor, was when early on we cut the Michelin rubber. And the trees in the Michelin rubber plantation are a nice straight row. It's very easy to run a tractor and work down there. That's when they allowed me to do it. Operator sat on his big fat behind somewhere while I cut the trees. But I didn't get into the the real cutting like these other guys did. But I had an awful lot of fun cutting down the Michelin, and the guys that work out there on a daily basis, I don't know how in the world they did it. But they enjoyed it. And one of the things about 86 or any of the units, they let us, I always equate it to a union shop. If you go into a union, you have to abide by the rules. 86 never had a rule. Cut, get it done. End of rules. And I think everybody that was out there enjoyed that. The freedom to quote unquote be in the Army, at the same time not be part of the Army garbage that you can get caught up in. And I think that's why the group functioned so well. You just didn't have any fights over non-existent items. There were fights, and there were a lot of people who got injured in those fights. But it was for pretty damn good reason when it happened. I was drafted, and I re-enlisted for 3 to get the school that I wanted. I went through the first course for engineer mechanic. They kept me to go through the second course. They kept me again to teach. So I went the full rigor, if you will, at Fort Belvoir. 2 classes, and then taught there for a while. I found that heavy equipment it was good for me at the time. When I walked away from the Army, I went to a different kind of heavy equipment in extrusion lines and forming equipment. But the concept is all the same. You know, you have to get out of the mindset that this is only good for one thing. You know, you get the concept of how to repair equipment, or not necessarily repair it, but learn how to make that piece of equipment work for you. And once I got that in my mind, I built a really nice career in the plastics industry out of that. At this point, I have a patent for work that they told me could not be done. I took information from a German instructor and his student that I saw at a plastic show, and I used that to make the patent come true. I was awarded oh good Lord, technical merit at the company. 1% of the company would be eligible for that award each year. I got it. And the people that I worked with said, how in the world did you do that? I said, well, the first thing I do is I never lie to anybody. Mm-hmm. I will tell you that you are an asshole from the word go, mm-hmm. if that's what it needs to be. And, you know, I got in trouble for that a couple of times. But, you know, if you use the education and not be trapped into thinking that this is the only thing it's good for, you can go a long ways with it. Mm-hmm. A long ways. I'd say my wife and I have been around the world, all on a company dollar. She loved it. I loved having her with me. So it's been good. And the downside was she probably raised the kids more than I did. I found the website here July of last year. It was the first I ever knew it existed. And I put together this drive right here. Currently has over 1,700 pictures from 9 different people that have contributed. I personally have 54 pictures on there. The first commanding officer for the 86th has 22. One of the platoon leaders, when the unit changed to the 501st, he had 6 pictures. There are people that have contributed here that have 250 to 400 pictures. I didn't have that. So, and it's been interesting to talk to these people. Some of them I can remember knowing over there. A guy named Preacher, or I don't know how he got the nickname Preacher, but you know, that's what he put on his tractor. He had a slide or a camera that he could take slides with, mainly what he did. When he left Vietnam, he sold it to a guy who currently resides in Georgia. When I contacted John in Georgia a number of months ago, I sent him a letter and sent him a couple pictures, and he looked at the pictures, he picked up his phone, dialed me, and he says, I know you. I said, okay, how do you know me? He says, I got a picture of you with a pig, because there were a number of us that contributed to the demise of that pig. I've got, currently I think it's 9 contributors. I got 1 video, 1,700 plus pictures. Some people have actually written some narrative on their time in Nam. anything that they're willing to give, I'm taking. Now, in the last 2 weeks, I sent out 9 letters to different members of the group. 3 of those 9 have contacted me. All of them are willing to contribute pictures. One person is willing to write. Yesterday, I gave up 9 thumb drives to different people upstairs, and the guy on the computer right now went out this morning and bought one for himself so that he can copy the drive I mailed to him. When he's done with that, I get that drive back. He bought a package of 5. I get all 5 of those thumb drives, and I gave him another $20 for another 5. So I'm going to have 10 more drives to hand out tomorrow. And this group, I didn't believe that I would get rid of all 9 drives, especially in the first day. And now I'm looking for 10 more. But the group has accepted the idea of looking for this award for the land clearing teams. And they're also willing now to contribute pictures, because this, doing this, it's one thing to do it for my wife and kids, but it has gotten big enough now that it's going to the museum at Leonard Wood and to the land clearing website. There will be no book. Not going to happen. I don't have the energy or time to deal with something like that, and I don't think any of us do. So that's where we're headed with it. There's not a question in anybody's mind that my wife and kids are going to get this as well. Yeah. And they'll be instructed, if I'm not here, this is where it goes. But I am thoroughly enjoying doing this as well. Very good. Well, in the last year, to go back to 1968 when I left, I have not had a complete night's sleep in 55 years. I get maybe 3 hours of sleep, and then I'm up. And if I get it sometime later in the night, I might get another hour, maybe 2. That is now changing. Getting 3-4 hours, and I can actually go back to sleep. And a lot of it is washing a lot of that memory out. And for me, it's worth it.
That's really wonderful.
So
It really is.
it's been good. And there's one guy up here that is a compatriot on doing this. There were 3 of us that got started with this whole project. One guy is down home in Georgia. He's still passing kidney stones.
Oh, goodness.
He's hurting right now, just hurting. But most of the people I talk to up here have either recently or in the recent past gone through prostate surgery. Not fun. And we all have our ugly spots
Sure.
on any particular day.
Absolutely.
So we try and let it wash out. But like I say, right now, everything that's going on around these people is good for me. I hope it's good for them.